Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today what we're going to do is we're going to cover Anna O'Brien again. She's currently been trolling her audience a little bit. I thought it was interesting. A lot of you guys liked my last video on her, and I wanted to just go ahead and continue to cover her because I do find her interesting. So today we're going to look at this short that she did where it says, YouTube comments in real life. Can't please everyone, so focus on your own goals. #health journey. So we're going to watch the whole thing all the way through, and then I'm going to go ahead and respond to it piece by piece. Okay? Let's go.
You can lift all the weights you want. Should be your cardio. Cardio can be really hard on your joints. It should be swimming. It doesn't matter how much cardio you do if your diet's not on point. You know, your diet doesn't even matter if you're not getting enough sleep. You know, it doesn't matter how much you sleep if you're not lifting weights.
Okay, so basically, when I first saw this, I actually saw it on Instagram, and it said Instagram comments on Instagram. But I did laugh a little, I will admit, I did, because when I saw it, I was reminded kind of the very beginning. And I think this is something that I could say to Anna, and I could say to other people maybe that have never been in the situation where you're super fat or, I don't know how to describe it other than that. Super morbidly obese, we'll just say, and you're losing weight or trying to lose weight online publicly. So one of the things is you do get a lot more traction and views when you're that big, but you also get a lot of criticism, and people really will assume that you have no idea what you're talking about no matter what you're doing. So with that, I can relate to what she's saying here because I had an experience similar to this kind of back in 2022, 2021. Once again, though, my channel was a lot smaller then. Things have changed. It's not really like that. But I did get some of that in the very beginning of 2023 when I first started talking about fat acceptance on YouTube, and that became the direction I was headed in. I did get a lot of that type of attitude as well then. But as I lost more weight, I stopped getting those types of comments. So I think it's important to understand that this will pass, Anna, with the results. I know it can be frustrating. I feel like so many times we look at her channel and we talk about her, she seems to be very ahead of herself. Like her mind is ahead of her body. And that can be really difficult. And I feel like that's something that we run into constantly. So we're going to go ahead and watch this again, and I'm going to just go through point by point and say what I think about it.
You can lift all the weights you want. It should be your cardio.
Okay, so basically when it comes to weight loss, especially a very long-term, long-haul weight loss, as I like to call it, which that's somebody who has to lose over 100 pounds. So I'm talking like 150, 200 and beyond. I only speak from about the 200 zone because that's where I started. I can't speak on anything higher than that. But when you're in that zone, you probably are going to have to lose weights. You're going to have to lose weight, but you're going to have to lift weights too. And the reason is that it has a very beneficial effect on your hormones. I recently found out that the repetitive motion of lifting weights, it really increases dopamine in the brain, which can help because a lot of people feel very bored while they're losing weight. There are certain chemical processes that can make you feel bored as you're losing weight. A lot of you guys have pointed out the hyperpalatability of food, for example, that a lot of super morbidly obese brains are accustomed to. And so really, regardless of what you're doing, when you're reducing calories and especially eating less processed foods, you have to deal with the fact, even just from the calorie reduction alone, you're getting a lot less of that hyperstimulation in your brain. And there is quite a come down from that. So lifting weights can be really, really beneficial. So I would say as soon as you can lift weights, you should. That's what I always say. If you're too big, it's too hard, etc., then give it time until you can. That's what I would suggest. So I have no issue with Anna lifting weights as long as she's doing it safely. I would suggest doing it on a machine, for example. I think that would be less risky in terms of injury. That's what I personally do. I use machines at this time because I try to be cognizant of my limits as a morbidly obese person. And when I was super morbidly obese last year, I still would use machines because it's just safer. So that's what I would personally suggest. So let's see what else we got.
Cardio can be really hard on the joints. You should be swimming.
Okay, so as far as the cardio on the machines and stuff, I don't think that, like, you do need to worry about your joints for sure, but it's not as detrimental as people think. It's just really about doing low impact stuff. So especially things like walking. Like you want to walk with supportive shoes. You want to do that kind of thing. Low intensity, right? Like not running, not, jogging, nothing like that. I would not suggest that whatsoever. For a super morbidly obese person, it's very hard on the joints. Your weight really multiplies. Even things like going upstairs constantly, it can be really hard on the knees. So you have to kind of start slower in terms of cardio. If you're doing just like a casual thing, like walking or swimming, it's more, it's less impact on the joints. That would definitely be good, but walking is fine, in my opinion. I lost a lot of weight walking a lot. It's a major thing, especially for a super morbidly obese person. People do not understand you can actually burn a lot of calories walking around, especially if you walk for like more than an hour in a day. So if you get an active job, you can burn a lot of calories if you walk a lot. And it's not as harsh of calorie burning, so you're not as hungry because it's not super intense. So it can actually really help sustain a deficit. I would definitely suggest doing that type of cardio, walking, even very slow walking, it doesn't matter. So that's major. So let's continue.
Doesn't matter how much cardio you do if your diet's not on point.
So in terms of the cardio and diet, I do think that diet does matter. However, there can be certain nuanced situations. For example, for me, back in 2021, my health was really, really, really terrible. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that you do have to be healthy enough to lose weight, because weight loss is a challenge to the body. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't lose weight. That doesn't mean that you don't have to lose weight. I think most people who are super morbidly obese absolutely do have to lose weight, if not all, honestly. So in terms of that, what I would say is there is often a benefit in eating healthier and having a healthier diet where you just focus more on whole foods or getting all your nutrients, especially nutrient density, I find to be really important. When you're focused on that, you can heal prior to weight loss. And then you can also get your metabolism in a better place. Like for me, I was extremely hypothyroid, so I had to cut seed oils for quite a few months and really change the way that I did my diet and whole lifestyle. Honestly, I changed my entire lifestyle. I had to do that to get my thyroid levels more normalized or get my thyroid hormone more effective within my body. Because in super morbid obesity, it's not just that you're not producing thyroid hormone. It can be that your hormones are really high, like estrogen, which opposes thyroid hormone, and that can make you be hypo, or you can have other issues like with absorption and these types of things, especially with fatty liver, which I have fatty liver. Like that affects conversion rates. So it's very complex. So in certain situations where people's health is really bad, it might be beneficial to just maintain for a while and do exercise like cardio and improve your diet before attempting a deficit. I think that that's it's a nuanced thing that a lot of people don't think about. But when you are super morbidly obese, sometimes you do have to consider that you may need to get healthy enough to lose the weight. That can exist, but you still have to be working towards it, okay? So I wouldn't agree with that comment. Okay, let's see what the next one is.
You know, your diet doesn't even matter if you're not getting enough sleep.
Okay, so this isn't true at all. A lot of times, your sleep will follow your diet. So if your diet is especially trash, it can make your sleep worse. So I would actually say it's better to do your diet before. I think basically everything, it does start with diet. You know, it really starts with what you're putting in your mouth. That is such a major thing. And you really have to figure out what balance of macronutrients works for you in order to sustain a caloric deficit. And whatever that ends up being, as long as you're getting all your nutritional needs met and you're not too hungry, then you're going to be golden. That's how you do it. But in terms of diet and stuff, I think it is important for beneficial sleep. However, in some cases, when you're hypo, especially, you can have insomnia or sleep issues within a caloric deficit. And I would say it's still better to be in the deficit than to be like, oh, I have to not do the deficit because I'm not sleeping enough hours or something like that. Like, I do think the diet matters more because the obesity in and of itself can be an issue in terms of sleep and sleep quality. So again, oftentimes when we're super morbidly obese, we are juggling different things and there's different leverage and we have to figure things out and prioritize different things. So it's important to factor that in. Okay. Diet's important, I would say.
You know, it doesn't matter how much you sleep if you're not lifting weights.
So that's funny. I would just say that your sleep absolutely matters, of course. If you're super exhausted all the time, it can definitely increase cravings for foods that may sabotage weight loss, like high-calorie foods and things like that. So sleep is very important and can help with your mood and all these different things. Like I said, though, in certain situations, you may be sleeping less or you may be sleeping more, depending on your super morbid obesity. It really depends on how it affects you. For me, I sleep a little bit less, honestly, but I just can't. I can't sleep any longer. But I try my best to foster my sleep as much as I can, and I'm self-employed, so I can get up when I want, basically. So I don't typically set an alarm. So that helps me a lot. So I think it depends. Some people who are super morbidly obese, they have a really, really hard time going to bed on time, going to bed and sleeping at night. Other people who are super morbidly obese, they may just want to sleep like 10 hours a day, so it depends. But I think wherever your body's at, sleep is important and it should be a priority, whatever you're doing. Not everything on this list is extremely general to everybody. Like, everybody's weight loss journey will look different. So I do agree with Anna that you do have to focus on your own weight loss goals. Lastly, I will say that the most important thing is to understand is that we only have enough effort to keep ourselves on track. So you can't be policing everybody else if you're on a weight loss journey, because you have to focus your self-control and your effort and energy on yourself to get it actually done. So that's what I will say. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me also know what you think about the fact that she's kind of trolling her audience. I find that to be interesting. She does this a lot. And I don't mind it, except when she plays victim. Because it's like, if you want to do this and be Miss Sassy Queen, then be Sassy Queen. If you're going to be about it, then be about it. I don't want to see Anna being like, oh, the hate. Oh, gosh. I don't like that kind of thing. If you're going to play around, then you're going to have to deal with it. I don't like that. And she does do that. So better not see a video like that, Anna, anytime soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys again very soon. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. Peace.